after 7, so at this time I'd like to call the Crystal City Council meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Here.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Here.
Councilmember Parsons.
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Banks is absent. Councilmember Budashevsky.
Here.
Councilmember Cummings.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, we have an agenda before us. Looking for a motion. Go ahead, Nancy.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
All right, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Reese. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right. Next item is our consent agenda. I'll read that into the record at this time. First item is the approval of the minutes from following meetings. City Council regular meeting from September 20th, 2022. Regular work session from that same date. Approval of the list of license applications submitted by the city clerk to the city council. That list is on file in the city clerk's office. And adoption of a resolution accepting donations. Approval for the non-representative compensation program document. And adoption of a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Minnesota Department of Public Safety for the 2022 Multicultural Adult Driver Education project. That is our consent agenda. Looking for a motion on that. Go ahead, John.
Make a motion approving it.
All right, looking for a second. David?
I will second that.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. I abstain. All right. Next is open forum. This is a time where you can speak to the council. Is there anybody wishing to speak during open forum? Anybody wishing to speak to the council or the public through the council? All right. So we will skip by open forum. That opportunity is held every council meeting, so if something changes and you'd like to come forward and have those conversations publicly, you may do that. Next, we have public hearing to receive comment, council consideration of a resolution adopting the assessment role for the 2022 utility reconstruction private sanitary sewer service lining repairs. We have Mark Ray here to address the council on that issue. So before we get to that, Mark.
Good evening, everybody. So this item you've seen every year for our utility recons. As part of the program, we do have an optional program where residents can have their sanitary sewer line from their home out to where our project basically starts, and then have that as done as part of the project and then have it assessed. So there's 39 project properties in the project area. 3 of them did participate in the sewer program. Total cost is to be assessed as $12,000. It's a flat $4,000 per property rate. Again, it's a voluntary program. We provide EDA home improvement grant information multiple times. Actually, it's already gone out for next year's project. And then no properties did apply for that grant. Let's try the full suite of buttons here. Basically, the hearing tonight is, there we go. First, the hearing is to give property owners an opportunity to express concerns about the actual amount assessed. City Council shall hear and consider all objections to the proposed assessment, whether presented orally or in writing. I'm not aware of us receiving any written any written appeals. And again, this was totally voluntary, and they actually waived their right to appeal the assessment as part of the process. So with that, Mayor, I'm going to turn it back to you to hold the hearing and then take action.
Thank you, Mark. All right, any questions from council before we move forward? Any comments? Seeing none? All right, this time I'd like to open the public hearing for testimony. Is there anybody wishing to address the council for this public hearing on this topic? Anybody wanting to testify? Seeing nobody approach, I will close the public hearing. Council, motion for this one? Go ahead.
Make a motion adopting the assessment role for the 2022 utility reconstruction private sanitary sewer service lining repairs.
Quick technical, I think it's 2022. don't know if I heard you say, did you say 22 or 23?
22.
Okay, perfect.
22.
Maybe I have an ear infection.
All right, go ahead, Nancy.
I'll second.
All right, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, next we have to consideration for a new on-sale liquor license for Purple Rose Lounge Corporation doing business as Purple Rose Lounge located at 5226 West Broadway. Chrissy Sirius is here to discuss that with us, so go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening. Mr. Winchell Sherman has applied for a new on-sale liquor license for the Purple Rose Lounge, the restaurant bar establishment at 5526 West Broadway, which is the former Pizza Ranch. A background check was completed and staff has reviewed the application, and there are a few pending documents. Notice of tonight's public hearing was published in the September 22nd Sun Post, and as well as next door in the northern neighborhoods. No correspondence has been received in regards to the new proposed license. Staff is recommending approval of the on-sale license upon receipt of the required remaining licensing documentation. As noted in the staff report, Mr. Sherman is also applying for a retail tobacco license to do business as Purple Rose Cigar and Hookah for the adjacent tenant space 5530 West Broadway. Mr. Sherman has provided floor plans for each tenant space and establishment, and a point of note is that there is a permanent wall between the two spaces with no passage or cross connections between them. Staff has communicated with Mr. Sherman about the permitted use of each of the spaces. Alcoholic beverages may not leave the premises and may not be brought into the tobacco shop or sampling room. Tobacco sampling room may not be used for any other purpose than sampling tobacco for the general public in that shop. Indoor smoking of tobacco products from any source is prohibited in all areas of the restaurant and bar. He is aware and acknowledged and understands the separation of usage and space, has also communicated that with the landlord. These comments were included as a condition of the building permits issued for both spaces. Mr. Sherman's anticipated opening dates for both of these businesses is late November, early December. However, that timing is yet to be determined based on his contractor. Mr. Sherman is in attendance tonight to address any questions the council may have, and that concludes my report at this time.
All right, thank you, Chrissy. Questions for Chrissy on this? Seeing none? Go ahead.
I don't have any questions for Chrissy, but if Mr. Sherman would like to.
I'm going to open the public hearing.
Okay, okay.
Do you have questions for him?
No, well, I can wait till after.
Okay, all right. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing for testimony. Is anybody wishing to speak on this issue? Anybody wishing to speak for testimony? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Winchell Sherman, could you please step forward? Make sure that microphone is directed towards you so everyone can hear you. Hi.
Hello.
I think John has a question for you. Go ahead.
Sure, hi, welcome, first of all, and thank you for taking over that space. The space has been empty for a long time. Again, this is a question I ask everybody who has applies for a liquor license in the city. I kind of would like to hear a little bit about your background working with liquor and then also with tobacco as well, and kind of give us an idea of your experience as well as the understanding of, that we do compliance checks on a regular basis and what you will have in place in order to prevent any underage sale of liquor or tobacco.
Okay. Currently, I have the Purple Rose Event Hall that's in Coon Rapids. So it's different from a restaurant and bar, but we do events and we do have alcohol that comes in. But the alcohol is not for sale, so they're coming from caterers and those that have outside liquor license. As far as my experience with tobacco, I don't have any other than I sample cigars myself. What we plan on doing as far as not having underage people drink alcohol, of course, we will ID them and we will have securities that will be present at all time, and all the staff members will ID any customer coming in that's looking to purchase liquor or the tobacco.
And one last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
And just from my understanding, also for the public, there's realization that we also have training within the city here itself in terms of that compliance check, in terms of making sure that you don't have any underage sales.
Yeah, and we will do training as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
My question is, do you have any systems that you're using to help aid in that process of IDing and whatnot?
Not at this point, but we will look into that. I have a consultant who I'm working with as far as establishing the business. So whichever that's needed for us to be in compliance, and I am aware of all the laws and everything regarding that. I read up on it, and also Chrissy and I talked fairly well on it as far as what's required. So with that, and along with the consultant that's helping me to set things up, we will look for all means of making sure that we are compliant and we are following the rules at all times.
Yep. Good. I'm just going to emphasize a little bit of what John said, because John always says this when somebody new comes in, and I just want to make sure that you got the message. There's a criminal offense, and there's also a civil offense when that occurs. So it's not just one thing that happens if the compliance check has failed. We really love to see businesses come in. We love to see them succeed, and we love them to thrive in our community. What we don't like doing is having people come back in here and have to have a fine or a suspension of that license. So we want to support you as much as we can, and we just don't want to undersell that piece with the compliance. So I hope you take that to heart.
I will.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Therese.
You're hoping to be open by the end of November?
Correct.
Okay, have you operated a restaurant before?
I have worked in one. I haven't managed or operated one, no.
Okay, and so the business in Coon Rapids is just the sample room or sample?
No, the business in Coon Rapids is an event hall.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
And
you
we
didn't
do
say that.
events like weddings,
Yeah, got it,
birthdays.
got it. So you're working with a consultant to help you set up the restaurant as well?
Correct.
Cool, well, welcome to Crystal.
Thank you.
We need more businesses like yours.
Thank you. And the consultant I'm working with, they are called Rapids. So I think they help a lot of restaurants with setup and everything.
Oh, cool. What kind of food are you gonna serve?
It's mainly finger food. We're not going to be doing full course, but it's mainly going to be finger food. And I'm also from Africa, so we'll do some African dishes and some Western dishes. We'll kind of mix it up.
Cool,
Very cool.
yeah.
Fun.
I think it'll be the first African no, there's not, there's one up,
There are smaller ones, yeah.
okay. Welcome.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
Just wondering if you had any questions about us. First, welcome to Crystal, but we do have a lot of variety of restaurants and things in the area, so we're looking forward to yours. And we do have the Crystal Business Association. It might be something you might be interested in to help you thrive and market your business around the area. Okay?
Yep, I do
And
plan
we
on-
can, the city staff, and we could help you with that as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, any more questions? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, John.
I make a motion to approve the new on-sale liquor license for Purple Rose Lounge Corporation doing business as Purple Rose Lounge located at 5526 West Broadway.
Looking for a second. Olga?
I'll second that motion.
All right, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome. And it's not rude to leave if you'd like.
Yeah, you don't have to.
As exciting as it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes?
You're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
bye.
Okay. Next item on our regular agenda is the disbursements of $25,000 or greater. And I will read those into the record at this time. Health Partners, Inc. for September health insurance premiums, $127,357. Bituminous Roadways, Inc. for Becker Court coloring, $32,065. Kraus Anderson for new police building project management, $61,874. League of Minnesota, fourth quarter 2022 property casualty insurance for $44,295. Acoustic Associates for new police building costs, $66,500. League of Minnesota for fourth quarter 2022 workers' compensation insurance, $152,020. Bewald Roofing Company for new police building costs, $35,149. George F. Cook Construction for building cost, $343,119. Golden Valley Joint Water Commission for August water cost, $274,548. Laketown Electric Corp. for new police building cost, $200,983. Mansfield Oil Company for fuel for our fleet is $26,532. McDowell Company for police building cost, $176,235. Met Council for wastewater services for September and October, $284,101. Multiple Concepts Interiors for new police building costs, $25,638. Peterson Companies for control course stormwater for the building, $202,221. RTL Construction for new police building costs, $52,876. SEH for utility reconstruction engineering for 2022, $34,591. MinPara for employee city required contributions for pay date 9/16/2022, $75,776. Create Construction LLC for 2022 concrete repair project, $45,714. Total disbursements of $25,000 or greater are $2,261,600.80. Questions on any of these items from the council? Any of these items? Go ahead, Nancy.
I'll make a motion to approve the list of disbursements over 25,000.
All right, thank you. Looking for a second.
I will second
Therese?
that.
All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Item 2 is public input on the 2023 budget and levies. Our financial director, Jean McGann, is here to address the council. Welcome, Jean.
Thank you. Good evening. Tonight we're here to offer an opportunity for public input on the 2023 proposed general fund budget and property tax levies, as well as looking at the overall EDA proposed budget and levy. So we're going to kind of go through the kind of goals and objectives first for the 2023 budget. So as we look at the budget goals, we really wanted to stress maintaining the current service levels with minimum impacts to taxpayers while still meeting the council's 4 priorities, which we'll get to in just a moment. It was important that the 2-year budget really does maintain all those core services, as well as continue to invest in the community in the form of capital, really focusing in on parks and on streets. In addition to that, there's always economic challenges, and so there was a great deal of focus placed on that as we went through this budget process. And as we'll go through some additional slides, you'll also see that the wage and benefit impact is existent within the budget as well. As we look at the council goals, thriving business climate, strong neighborhoods, sound financial policies, and a welcoming and inclusive community are all, critical components of the council. I mentioned before that the sound financial policies, where we're working on a 2-year budget again. We have a long-term plan, and we're also in the final stages of coming forward with a 5-year utility rate study. As we move on to the next slide, this is the overall general fund summary. Now, if you just look at the general fund itself, you'll see that the increase for 2023 in both revenues and expenditures is 6%. This next slide shows that this overall increase in revenues and expenditures is a little bit over $1 million. And as we look at the increases, and you'll see the breakdowns of this, you'll see the primary increase is within property taxes and is the largest funding source for the increase in all of the expenditures. And we'll talk a little bit more about the overall levy and how all of it was calculated here shortly. If we look at the next slide for the EDA expenditures are proposed at $357,000, rounded off a little bit, and there's a proposed levy increase of 2% in order to have a consistent fund balance year over year. Overall, we are proposing a 9.5% property tax levy increase, and that includes the continuing investments in capital as well as the EDA. There are a few significant impacts for 2023 that we wanted to draw your attention to. I keep talking about capital. So we do have an increase in capital funding of $275,000. Local government aid is a revenue that is received from the state, and Crystal experienced a $425,000 loss in local government aid for 2023. $175,000 of that impacts the general fund. We also have different workers' compensation and insurance premium increases, and the health insurance is also increasing. In addition to that, we have cost of living adjustments, and as everyone knows, fuel prices are much higher than what we would want them to be at this point, and so we did need to make some inflationary adjustments for that. At this point, the union contracts are not yet settled, and so that's still an unknown as we're looking at the 2023 budget. As we move on to the 2024 budget, as we do prepare a 2-year budget, we have several things that we're looking at. Now, while this doesn't impact the general fund for what we're talking about this evening, we are proposing in 2024 for a utility staffing increase, and this would be, taking care of meter maintenance and replacements. In addition to that, there's a crime analyst position being proposed in the police department. There are 3 elections in 2024, so that will also impact the general fund budget. Continuing on with the street and park capital increases in that component of the levy. And we do anticipate we'll see additional health insurance increases as well as workers' compensation and insurance premium increases. Some other things that could very well impact the 2024 budget is there is a potential that we could have a return of some of the lost local government aid. That's never a certainty. We'll have to see where all of that goes legislatively. We should have more direction on all of the labor agreements, so it will be easier to plan for the compensation adjustments. Interest rates have started to increase on the investments that the city is allowed to make, so we are seeing some additional revenue coming in from that regard. But we also need to take into consideration property value impacts and how all the adjustments to tax capacity, could possibly shift. And if there is always a potential that you could have an increase in permit fees as well. So if we look at the overall tax impacts itself, this chart is showing on the bottom half of this slide, is showing kind of the home value, taxable market value for pay 2023. For instance, if you have a home valued around $216,730, the increase based on the proposed property tax levy is about $101. Now, if your home value is, for instance, $347,000, we're estimating a $162 increase. Now, as I mentioned before, we are requesting public input this evening. On December 6th, we will also, be providing an opportunity for the public to ask any questions that they may have, and the council will consider the final budget and levies. Before we wind up here, I do want to mention on the next slide some property tax relief programs. There are several programs through the state of Minnesota that are offered to taxpayers. There's a homestead credit refund. There's a renter's refund if you rent. There's a component of that property tax that can come back to you. There's a special property tax refund when the market value increases a certain amount. There's an opportunity for that. There's a deferral program for senior citizens. And if people do have questions on any of these programs, we have both the phone number and the website for the Minnesota Department of Revenue listed on the slide. And with that, happy to address any questions.
Questions from the council? Any questions from the council? Comments from the council? Any comments? Okay. So this particular evening is something that we added probably, 6 years ago? And it was to help the public know what was coming, because oftentimes we have our September initial levy approval, and the public really doesn't hear anything until, was it December? All the way into December? And we felt it was something very important to just give it another go so the public could have an opportunity to give some input. Because we didn't really have an input function before that. So that's what tonight is all about. So with that, I think we're going to move forward to public comment. I know I have one gentleman here. Steve Kuntz is here to address the council. Oh, no, you need to, sir, you need to be up here. Well, we need to be able to hear you.
Jane, what does EDA mean?
Economic Development Authority.
Thank you very
You're welcome.
much.
Adjust the microphone so the people at home can hear you. There you go.
Am I better?
Much better.
All right. Thank you, esteemed council, mayor, and citizens of Crystal. I've had the opportunity to live in Crystal for 26 years. Retired in Crystal after working in public service, so I appreciate all that you do for the city and the people of Crystal. I was very concerned when I started to digest, and thanks to Ann and Christy as far as getting me the comprehensive budget and the PowerPoint beforehand, as far as the aggregate increase in what property tax, and from whatever, you don't have page numbers on there, so whatever page that one is. That basically in 2023 we will see a 9.5% increase, and 2024 13.05. I'm also concerned about the $2 million of the state ERA money, or the federal ERA money, that's going to go to the new police station. I think, unfortunately, the timing of the police station wasn't the greatest. March 2020 wasn't the best time to be sort of launching a $16 million project, and policing has changed a lot since May 27th of 2020. One of the things that's sprinkled throughout this budget is references to partnering with different entities, because I think the police department has such a horrendous job dealing with the mental health. They're mental health practitioners, they're social workers, they're all these things to people, and when the line item for public safety is half of your budget, there has to be ways to weave that into the other entities out there. I am hoping with this new structure that would be a possibility to do. It's sprinkled out here, but there's no threads of how that's going to happen, because I think that's going to be essential for public safety as it moves forward. As far as hooking up with the educational systems, we want to get people before they get to the public safety. We want to sort of derail them from maybe their life situation. So I'm hoping that can be part of this new entity over there. But I don't understand how, unless this is just capital money, this $2 million, why it's going to the police station at this point.
The ARPA revenue that you're referencing is through the American Rescue Plan.
Right.
And there are very specific criteria in which those funding sources can be utilized for. And this is one of the authorized funding sources that it can be used for.
So it's only brick and mortar?
There are other, types of things. You could utilize this to replace lost revenue.
Aren't we having lost revenue in this budget?
We are having lost revenue, but that's not the kind of lost revenue that they're referencing. It would be from more of some of your other general fund revenues, such as licenses and permits and those types of things.
The state credit, that isn't considered a lost revenue as far as that 400?
No.
The local government aid, no, that is not. That's a formula-based revenue,
Okay.
and that is not included within what qualifies under the ARPA dollars.
What will this $2 million be used for in the new $16 million station?
The $2 million assists in the construction of the police department,
Building.
the building itself.
But wasn't the initial cost slated at 16 million? Why did it jump 2 million?
It did not jump 2 million. The 2 million will help to offset the 16 million.
It buys down to 16 million.
Okay.
In addition to that, there was a $4 million grant from the state bonding bill as well that is going to assist with the construction of the police department.
Right.
Can I add something? Maybe
Sure.
try to help.
Okay.
Part of the $16 million is being paid with internal loans from other funds within the city. And so the 2 million ARPA funds will help decrease the amount of those internal service funds.
So you're not going to pay the interest on those loans?
Well, we don't pay any interest to ourselves, but within the other funds. So the total project is still $16 million. It's just how we've got it paid for is the internal service loans. The city is coming up with 12 million.
Okay.
4 million of the 16 came from the state, from the bonding bill in 2020. Part of the now I'm getting myself confused. The 12 million
The two.
is the two, and then the balance will be paid for either by money in our building fund or internal loans from other funds that the city has. And then the building fund will repay those.
And I think one of my concerns when and thank you for clarifying that helps so I can understand that. Thank you, is I'm thinking of the senior citizens right now who we just received a 20% increase in electricity, or they're having public hearings on that. Gas is going up 19%. And granted, the city is a business, but I hate to see people that love the city and have retired here being pushed out because of, potentially 22% increase in property taxes. But obviously, with this great group in front of me, nobody else cares, so.
I think.
We do. Oh, good, thank you.
All right, hold on.
We all do.
I think the chief wanted to respond to some of the
Okay.
questions
Yeah.
that you had as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. And sir, thank you for bringing up the fact about partnering with others, because that is something that we take very seriously. And we've been doing that actually over the last couple of years, and we do have embedded social worker inside of our police department regarding mental health. And we also have an embedded domestic assault advocate along with a joint community police partnership program liaison. So we've been partnering with various different entities for the last couple of years. So it's something we take seriously.
Okay, and I would encourage you to continue that and maybe expand it with your brand spanking new building.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Do you partner with any of the education, the high schools and that entity?
We do.
Okay, because I think that is where a lot, if we can derail some of the behaviors at that level. Are there, and this is for the city at an aggregate, I'm wondering if there's internships, apprenticeships as your talent pool ages, if there's ways that people can get into city government.
Yeah, we have internships with our police department and have for several years along with a cadet program as well. So, yep,
Thank you for.
you're welcome.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd wish to have comment? No? Okay. All right, there's no motion on that item. That's just an item that, like I said, gives the public a chance to respond. All right. Next, council will consider civil penalties for a violation of liquor license regulations by Cousins LLC doing business as Adair Liquor located at 6001 42nd Avenue North. Chrissy Sirius is here to address the council.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. Hello. In late 2021, compliance checks were conducted, and as a result, Adair Liquor did not pass and sold alcohol to an underage person. The employee of the business has pleaded guilty in court to the offense. Notice of the violation in tonight's meeting was mailed to the licensee on September 21st. This is considered a second liquor license violation for this licensee. Kelly Meyer, on behalf of the business, is here tonight to address the council. Consistent with civil penalties schedule established by the City Council resolution, staff recommends a $1,500 fine and a 3-day license suspension.
All right.
Good evening.
Hold on a second. Are there any questions from the council? Yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
I have this little spreadsheet I maintain, but could you tell me when the first violation was?
Councilmember LaRoche, I certainly can. The first violation was 12/21 of 2019.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, David.
I have another question. I think, was that first violation, was that with this council? Because it was like really delayed, or am I thinking of something else?
The council meeting, or the meeting that the council considered this violation was May 18th of 2021.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the right one.
Okay, that's what I thought, okay.
Yeah. It
So-
took us a while for it to come here.
Okay.
Go ahead,
So
Olga.
it's, just to clarify, this is second violation within 3 years, since it's 2019. 12/21/2019, so it's still 2 years.
Yep, because this happened in 21.
2019. You said 12/21/2019.
Councilmember Person, sorry if I was confusing. The first violation happened 12/21 of 2019.
Correct.
And the second violation happened 12/8 of 2021.
Oh, okay, all right, got it.
All right.
I see, yes.
So it's well within the second violation. All right. No more questions from the council? All right, at this time I will, we'll go through, did you want to have a, what is it called? It's called a hearing. Did you want a hearing, or are you
Yes.
waiving the hearing?
We would like to request a hearing.
Okay,
The letter was dated the 21st. We did not receive it in Skokie, Illinois until this past Friday, which gave us very limited time to get adequate representation regarding this. So we would like to have a hearing so we can have council present.
okay.
Can I ask you a question?
So, yeah, go ahead.
So the address on the letter was to the business?
To the business. It was not to Adair here in Crystal. It was to the business owners in Illinois. So we didn't really have any time to prepare for this. We just found out about this Friday.
So the business owner didn't notify you at any point?
On Friday,
On
on the
Friday?
28th. And today's the 3rd. So we really didn't have much time to communicate with our attorney about this, who just represented Ethan Gonzalez in this matter. So we didn't have much time to gather information or even speak with our attorney. So we would just like to request a hearing based on what he has told us to do.
Okay.
But you weren't aware of the second violation?
No, we were aware of the second violation. Ethan is the one that, was the one that,
Okay. And so then,
the first violation.
So,
no,
so
that-
can I stop you guys? The hearing has been requested. These are questions that belong within the hearing.
okay.
So let's move on to the hearing. This time I'd like to open a hearing. You've requested a hearing, and let's continue with the line of questioning that has been going on. Go ahead, John.
All right, so, so you were notified by the city that there was a second violation, right? So, I mean, because obviously the officer came into the business
Correct.
and pointed out the receipt and the alcohol, correct, that, of the violation?
He's gonna have to answer that. I was not present.
Yep, sure, it's fine.
The second, there's 3 charges in there. The
What is-
second one was,
You.
I wasn't,
Who's- Okay.
I was in 2022.
The 2022 is what you,
Yeah.
okay. And you can
It was on
explain. That they came in.
So they had came in, they said for the third time that they came in, the second charge, I wasn't there for that one. But the third time that they came around, the guy came in with the receipt and goes, okay, well, we're here to exchange our money for your item back. So we exchanged everything, we did the exchange of everything.
The exchange, I mean, you did a refund, or?
Yes.
You did a refund for the
You
underage
guys are asking for the
purchase.
second charge, correct? Of the 2021 or 2022? You guys are asking for.
So there's 2019 and then there's 2021.
One.
Yes.
So we're dealing with 2021. So,
There's like too many questions coming out of two.
No, I think we're not clear on the dates of these either.
well, the violations are very clear. It's in the record of the police report. And that's the date, the 2019 date and then the 2021 date in December. I think it was December 8th, if I remember right.
It said that we got charged 3 times, that we got 3 of them, but there's only 2 showing here.
Chief?
We just need to request a hearing. That's all
Well,
we'd like to do.
you're in the hearing now. This is the hearing.
Well, then how are we gonna have representation? If we couldn't have a timely manner to have our attorney present.
Okay, hold on with that question. Chief, you
Yep,
want to go ahead?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Ma'am, I think everyone's a little bit confused here, so just so you know, so you already pled guilty to the criminal matter.
Yes,
That's all done.
yep,
This is for the civil penalties against the business from the city council, right? And so, and it's regarding the 2021, right, deal that you already pled guilty on. It's the second one within 3 years' time. So do you have the police report from your incident?
No.
Okay, but you've seen it. You must have seen it when you pled guilty.
They didn't show me a form.
I'm guessing someone has it,
his
otherwise.
attorney, I'm sure probably
Yeah,
has.
yeah. So again, that piece, the criminal piece is done. This is the penalties against the business regarding, because as the mayor said in the beginning, there are two things when you end up getting a liquor and alcohol or tobacco license, the civil part and then the criminal part. Criminal piece is done, this is a civil hearing. Does that make
I
sense?
heard you now.
So then, what is, the decision is made by the mayor and the council is to decide whether or not they're gonna impose penalties on the business, meaning either they're going to possibly suspend your liquor license or tobacco license, and they're going to give you a civil fine of dollars. So that's what this is. Does that make sense?
So,
Yeah, I understand. You're talking about the business portion and then his portion.
correct. And usually when people plead guilty in the criminal aspect, they don't go forward with the hearing because it's,
That is just what we were recommended to do by the attorney because he
Okay.
could not be here this evening. He was in trial apparently all week.
okay.
He couldn't be here. So
All
that
right.
was in his opinion.
Is it clear what's going on here?
It is.
I mean, we have the criminal guilty plea, and then basically what you're saying here is,
So what would the fine be?
that's usually something that this council determines.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to share with us, or?
No.
Okay. All right, any other questions from the council for this hearing?
I was just wondering if this would help if they had our copy from the council. We have a copy out on the table. If you don't have this
Oh.
agenda item.
Yeah, let's go see if, yep, that'd be great.
No, it probably is not there, Nancy. Because it's, no.
Mayor,
Chief.
if I may,
Oh, I'm sorry,
I'm going to make a couple recommendations.
Kelly, go ahead.
First, I recommend that they be given an opportunity to review the police report that you
Okay.
have. If they haven't reviewed that, they should have an opportunity to review that, and perhaps we could give them a few minutes to discuss it if they'd like.
Sure.
And secondly, I do think that we need to kind of lay the foundation of what the police report says and ask them, did the police come into your establishment on a particular date? And so that we have a solid factual basis to support or understand where they believe what is in the police report is in error. And thirdly, I don't know that the police report itself is in the council record. Do you?
It is not.
Okay,
We shared it.
so we should get that police report into the council record. If this council's decision, whatever this council's basing your decision on, it needs to be in the record before you. So we need to get the police report into the record, and we need to make sure that the licensee has had an opportunity to review it and respond to what's in it.
Okay. All right,
So that the public record's clear. What did you make your decision on?
all right. And our city clerk will put that into the record, from what I understand? Okay.
And just for the record, then the council members have all had an opportunity to review that police report?
Yes.
Okay.
I've given
All right.
a copy of the report.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So could we like move on to other things on the agenda and then come back?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Let's continue the hearing, and we'll continue with regular business, and we'll come back to this. Thanks for that recommendation. All right. Next is Mark Ray, our Public Works Director, addressing the council on a contract for the pedestrian crossing at Douglas Drive and 32nd.
All right, good evening, Mayor and council members. We've been talking about this since 2016 when the Bass Creek Regional Trail was constructed through the city, and kind of our support and interest and desire to put a higher level of pedestrian crossing warning signage here. At that time, Hennepin County was not in support of that. Unfortunately, that held it up. This past summer, the county finally expressed support and approval for this project. We obtained 2 quotes to get the work done. We did reach out to 4 vendors. Laketown Electric Contractors was the lowest one. That might ring a bell because they're actually working on the police department right now. So if you think you heard them before, that's why. The cost can be split 1/3 by each agency. The city will be responsible for paying the ongoing electrical cost, and the county is going to own and operate the system. So with that, just a quick demonstration of what this is, just so we're all on the same page. Matt's going to pull up a quick little video here because I know there's been some kind of confusion on the system we're putting in place. Bottom one, Matt. So, here you go. This is the one at Welcome and 36th. But basically, it's a push button activated. You see the rectangular beacons. All the traffic magically stops, and the pedestrians can safely make it across. Thank you, Matt. You're good to shut it down. It is actually the same system going in. From an operational standpoint, that's what users will experience. The one difference is because there's some heavy tree cover there, it's powered from Excel, and there's not solar power. So it'll have a little more reliable operation year-round due to the tree cover there. So with that, the motion before you is authorizing the contract for the enhanced signal stuff. I should note, due to us trying to move this as quick as possible, Ann did already sign that, was it 2 weeks ago now, I think, to keep it moving. So you're kind of on the hook, but I hope that was okay. Are there any questions?
Questions from the council? Go ahead, Nancy.
You may have said it, but I was so into the dinosaur that got distracted. Did you say an install timeline?
We are moving as quick as humanly possible with the contractor. The hope is they might be able to get all the underground stuff put up yet this fall. And then when the signal system arrives later, potentially in December, because it is metal and supply line stuff, they could then put that stuff up even this winter because all the underground work is done. So I will say cautiously optimistic it'll be operational at some point this winter.
Okay, that's great.
All right. Go ahead.
No
Yeah,
other
go ahead,
questions?
Nancy.
I would love to make a motion to adopt authorizing the contract for 32nd Avenue and Douglas Drive enhanced pedestrian warning signage.
All right, thank you. I'll second that motion. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
I know I'm gonna be called out of order again, probably, but is that, like accessible for people with visual impairments? Does it have audio?
So it does have the chirp chirp to find it.
Sir,
and then
You
it's,
gotta
Sir.
come back up here and,
ask your question through
Yeah.
the microphone. We have people who listen online, and it goes to the website.
It goes wah,
If
wah,
we're gonna
wah.
allow you to have a comment, it's gonna be there.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate it. Just checking to make sure that it was visually accessible.
so the technical term is vibro-tactical, yes. So if it'll make a little chirping noise, and then if you touch it, it does vibrate. Provide that.
All right. Thank you, Mark. All right. We had, where were we?
You're now at 6.5.
6.5.
Oh, we did vote, yes.
You did.
That darn dinosaur.
Yeah.
All right, next, the council will consider a resolution discharging discriminatory restrictive covenants on city-owned land. Our Community Development Director, John Sutter, is here to address the council.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. You probably remember this item from the EDA. I won't go back through all the history about just deeds, but basically, in addition to helping private property owners discover and discharge discriminatory restrictive covenants on their property titles, we have found that there are 2 city-owned properties that also have discriminatory restrictive covenants in their title history. And the resolution before you tonight would authorize the execution of the documents discharging the covenants that are present on the city's water reservoir property at 4121 Douglas, and also on a vacant lot in the vicinity of Bassett Creek at 6527 36th. So I would be happy to answer any questions and would request action on the resolution.
All right, thank you, John. Questions for John? Seeing none, looking for a motion? Go ahead, Nancy.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution discharging discriminatory restrictive covenants.
Go ahead, Olga.
I'll second that.
All right, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All
Mr.
right.
Mayor, yeah, I had one comment I forgot to mention from the EDA meeting, is that as far as we know, the Crystal is the first city in Hennepin County to discover and discharge discriminatory covenants on its own properties.
Okay, awesome. Good job, thank you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and, that was the last item on our regular agenda. I'm gonna go ahead with announcements as well. As of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The City of Crystal and Crystal Police Departments are seeking to raise awareness by participating in the the Purple Light Initiative by lighting up the new police station at 4141 Douglas Drive each evening for the month of October in recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The City of Crystal strongly encourages anyone to break the silence of domestic violence and view the purple lights in October as an encouraging message for help and healing. If you or someone you know has been a victim of domestic violence, please call 911. Additional resources can be obtained by contacting the Crystal Police Department at its phone number 763-531-1020 or Cornerstone at 1-866-223-1111. The council will hold a work session on Thursday, October 13th at 6:30 p.m. in the chambers here at City Hall. You're able to attend that via Zoom as well. Next council meeting will be Tuesday, October 18th at 7 PM in the council chambers at City Hall via Zoom. City council meeting and work sessions are open to the public. Current and previous meetings are available for your listening or viewing pleasure at our website, www.crystalmn.gov. That is our
Announcements?
announcements. Any extra? Go ahead.
So as of last Friday, September 23rd, you can vote early with an absentee ballot at your local elections office, or you can also apply for an absentee ballot as well. And if up until, I believe, the day before the regular election, which is November 8th. So, thank you.
Yep, go ahead, Nancy.
Sarah, would you please come to the podium and announce your open house tomorrow night?
Yes, we will be holding a fire department open house at Station 3, which is at 4251 Xylon Avenue North in New Hope, right across the street from Hy-Vee. And it's from 5 to 7. We'll be doing a technical rescue demonstrations. We'll be doing a vehicle extrication. We'll have live fire demonstrations. There'll be hot dogs, just so you don't have to
Wondering about the
feed.
food, yeah.
Your
Didn't
children
say
since
that
it's
on the
so
list.
early. But it should be a great time for all, and hope we see a lot of people there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Any other announcements?
Are we going back to, they
All right,
are coming back?
we are going to go back to item,
6-3.
yep, 6.3. Thank you. Oh, the one I starred, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
And on cue, you're welcome to step forward again, please.
We apologize for not understanding this part
No.
of this.
That's okay. So at this point in time, I'm going to reopen the hearing, so go ahead.
I guess we were just informed, thank you very much for explaining that, we weren't really privy to any of this. So we were under the assumption that the attorney had told us that when Mr. Gonzalez pleaded guilty, that the store wouldn't be held responsible, if that makes sense. I'm not an attorney, I'm a nurse, I don't know any of this stuff. But we were told that nothing was gonna happen against the store, meaning we wouldn't be fined or we didn't receive anything until the 28th of September. And it's the 3rd now. We didn't receive any documentation, any communication until then regarding a Dare Liquor being fined or any of that. We considered it to be completely void and over after Mr. Gonzalez was through court and went through all of that. It was basically stating that no same or similar for a year and be on your merry way.
Unfortunately, that was not right. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to clarify that Janice at the corporate office is the licensing representative on file for this license. That is who the certified and regular mail notice was mailed to, and I also did follow up with her on Monday morning, emailing her everything and letting her know that this would be coming before the council on October 3rd. She emailed me back on Wednesday with a question, and I advised her to consult her attorney, so that was Wednesday. So we have had communication with
And I
Janice,
did
so
not.
if you were not
So,
aware.
yeah. And
we have had.
I'm not aware of any of that communication. I just found out about it on Friday and showing up not really knowing what to do or how to go about any of this.
Okay. So you're disputing it, however,
Disputing what?
the violation?
No, I mean, I'm aware that he pleaded guilty. I wasn't aware before this evening that he did. I was not. So I'm not disputing that this happened. I'm just wondering why we were never notified, or I wasn't aware there'd be a fee or penalty.
Okay. Go ahead, Nancy.
Just a question, if I could. With the first violation that happened, were you not informed of the violation at that time?
I was not working there.
You were not working there? Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Are you the manager, or do you? Who's the manager? The question is.
She's
who's
the manager.
You're the manager, and you're new since when?
It'll be a year in August. Or it was a year in August.
Okay, last time it was Darren, he was here with me, and he had that, he plead guilty, and we were fined for $500 that time.
Yep.
So
Mayor?
this incident was-
Mayor, I'm sorry. Just so that the record is clear, I think we should get everyone's name so we know who's speaking,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they're speaking, so
Okay.
that we can make sure that we know what happened
Thank
when
you.
we read this
Yeah.
all
There's
later.
confusion, a lot of things is being.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me your name.
Sam Afzal. I came here.
Could you
last
spell
year.
that for me, please?
Last is Sam, first name, and the last name is AFZAL.
Okay.
And I'm also on the license as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's our manager, Kelly. And,
Kelly Meyer,
Kelly Meyer. Yep.
and Ethan.
Ethan Gonzalez.
Okay. Yeah, I think we have his. All right.
So I would like to explain this time, there's why everyone is so confused. When the incident happened, they inform us. They inform us that the officer came in and they asked, they sent somebody underage, and when they came in, they did their job, half of it, they did ask. They both were present that time. He was ringing the register. He was present
just-
with the ID.
Hold on.
Can I just interrupt to make
Yeah,
sure that the record's clear? You indicated that you met Mr. Gonzalez was there?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I will start naming them so that.
This is just.
So, so Gonzalez was giving the ID, and he, according to him, that he couldn't recognize the ID as a Minnesota ID. So he handed over to Kelly.
So Mr. Gonzalez gave it to Miss Kelly Meyer?
Kelly that day.
Thank you.
And she saw. They both told us that ID was not Minnesota, and they couldn't read the date of birth on it. Okay, that was information given to us. So they still end up selling that to the minor. Then the officer came in and didn't issue any citation or giving anything in writing. They explained the same thing to the officer, and he said to them that he gonna do the investigation, whoever was here, about the ID. And according to them, that officer never came back. So we thought that we didn't have any citation for a long time because there was no correspondence with the police department after that for a long time.
Mr.
That's
Mayor?
why until Ethan received a letter up to show in the court for the state, from the state, that was the first time we got anything in writing.
Got that.
Mr. Mayor, as I explained to Mr. Gonzalez out in the hallway and with Callie and Sam, that according to the police report and the police officer's report, there was a Minnesota driver's license that we identified the decoy on. Unfortunately, they're saying that's not, but that's not what we're disputing here today. Again, I will tell you that this is not a criminal hearing, this is a civil hearing. You've already pled guilty to the criminal hearing. This is a civil matter, which is against the business themselves. Now, in the criminal hearing, I will tell you that, yes, the officer did identify the decoy with a Minnesota driver's license, and that's in the police report. So we're not going to dispute that any longer. That's not why you're here tonight. You're here to discuss with the council, and plead with them, quite frankly, about your business and your business practices and what, you're going to take the next steps and measures to not have this happen again.
Which I am guilty of, as Mr. Ethan was. But where should I then have to explain our side of the story? I mean, there has to be some place where I should.
That was during the criminal part.
By his part, and that's another confusion. When he settled with the state, he was told that our business is a part of the deal by the attorney, that he's not actually settling just himself, he's settling as our business is also settling.
For the criminal complaint, yes.
Oh, okay.
but not for the civil complaint.
Okay, okay.
Yep. Yeah, you were here for the one prior,
Yes.
and you're very aware that when you get a criminal charge, that it's going to come here, because you were here.
Yeah, I
So-
was.
So
there,
you're
and-
the license holder, one of the license holders.
Yes. Mhm.
Unfortunately, your address is not on the license, and all that stuff is kind of
Yes,
irrelevant at this point.
I am sorry about that, all the confusion, because of the addresses, there is a different address, in Adair, and we have another corporate address, which is not even in this state. And that's where all the confusion, and we have one person in office who must be speaking about Janice.
Okay.
And there was a communication gap, of course, between us and.
So if there's a better correspondence address, I think that should be given to the
Yes, I
city,
will make sure.
and make sure that's updated.
Wouldn't happen.
Just so that your line of communication
Yes.
is better, because we've done what we could with the information we had.
Yes, and I again explained that we try to have the best services available, and it's just something that I'm really sorry, and I will say that it won't happen again. We instructed her, she knows that, to buy the,
I'm gonna purchase a reader, so.
That would be
everyone that comes
awesome.
in, we swipe the card, it's a done thing, so we won't ever have this issue again. That's
and we
something-
are,
So just Kelly, just for your knowledge, the training still needs to occur on the swipes. We've had people come through with swipes and still fail the compliance test. So don't think that the machine is going to do everything. You still need to be trained on the machine, and you still need to make sure your employees are diligent, okay? right.
so one humble request, and then before you guys
Deliberate, yeah?
So the only thing that we just went through the COVID era, which was a very slow time and very hard for the businesses. So please consider when you guys decide about our fate.
What is it you want us to consider?
About whatever the fine you guys are gonna put presenting to the business. So just keep.
Are you more concerned about the fine or the suspension?
Both. Actually, both, as suspension is the highest, because it hurts the business altogether, not being on the open.
All right. Do you have anything else you wish to tell the council? Does the council have any other questions? Go ahead.
Was, with the first offense, was there a suspension of the license?
No.
There was not.
It was not.
No, that's Councilmember Wojciechowski.
There was a fine though, correct, with the first?
Yeah, it was
correct.
$500.
Okay, thank you.
All right. With that, I'm going to, it's appropriate to close the hearing and then go into deliberations. Is that, I'm asking the lawyer?
Yes.
I've never been through one of these before like this. All right, so we're gonna close the hearing. You're welcome to have a seat. All right. Nancy, I want to hear from you.
You do?
I do. What do you have on second? What do you have on second?
Oh, for
violation?
history, with my little spreadsheet from the past. We have had, historically, with other businesses who have had second offenses, we have implemented a 3-day suspension. There was one where we did not, that was a tobacco violation, no, that was not liquor. The liquor ones, all on our second violation, we voted to give a 3-day suspension. And this was between 2017 and 2019. And I have my spreadsheet here, if you want me to pass it down for reference.
And then the fine.
And the fine, correct.
Fine was also $1,500.
Fine was $1,500 with a 3-day, yes, with all of them. Second suspension, or second violation.
All right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I don't know whether you're aware of it. In 2018, you passed a resolution outlining what presumptive penalties would be.
Yes.
And on a second violation, the presumptive penalty is $1,500 and a
Yes.
2-day suspension.
2 days?
Sorry, 3.
3 days, yep.
Okay.
Yep, we're aware of that. And that's a discretionary presumption.
It is.
Yep. All right,
I can make a motion.
I just want to say, I personally prefer not to do suspensions, but I'm fine with the fine, so you're probably gonna, you already beat me to it, to make a motion, but if I were to make a motion, I'd make one without the suspension, so.
all right. Well, let's see how this goes. Anybody have any more discussion before we move into this?
I agree with Olga, not suspension and just a fine.
Okay. Do you want to move forward? Well, you haven't made a motion yet.
I haven't, I have to make the motion.
Go ahead and make
Yeah.
a motion.
So, I make a motion that based on the staff report, including the findings contained therein and the other information presented regarding this matter, that a penalty of $1,500 and a 3-day license suspension be imposed in this case.
Okay, looking for a second.
I'll second that.
David? All right, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Budaszewski.
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Nay.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Nay.
Councilmember Parsons.
Nay.
Mayor Adams.
Nay.
Motion fails.
All right. Olga?
I'll make a motion then to, for a civil fine in the amount of $1,500 and no license suspension.
All right, looking for a second on that.
I'll
Nancy?
second.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Cummings.
No.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Aye.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Aye.
Councilmember Parsons.
Aye.
Mayor Adams.
Aye.
Councilmember Budaszewski.
Nay.
Motion carries 4-2.
All right, thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
No, not yet, not yet, not yet.
If I could just add a comment, and I am sorry I didn't mention it earlier on my spreadsheet. The ones that had second offenses with 3-day suspensions did not show or to council or send us a letter.
Yep,
And that weighed in my decision tonight.
yep, I agree. Thanks for that nuance. After a second violation, you know, if there's some grace given, I always want to make sure that the grace ends at 2. It really does. So if something happens, it's gonna be everything moving forward. So are we past that time period? Do you know?
Don't come back, right?
Has one dropped off by this date, today's date?
Yeah, yes, Mayor
Okay,
Adams would
yep.
have been.
So just know if that happens, that's where it ends up. Okay, any other comments, questions? John, you have something?
Yeah, make a motion to adjourn.
Nancy?
Second.
All right, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks.